Warning, this video contains spoilers for the entire Star Wars franchise. What's up, Star Wars fans? Welcome back to the Hills Maniacs. I'm the Master of Movies, Clay, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite Star Wars characters from the movies. So, this will be, there will be some characters that have been in TV shows. For example, if I say a Jedi who has been in the Clone Wars, the reason I put them in the movies and not as the Clone Wars is because we see more of that character in the movies, or the movies are more of that character's story instead of the TV series. So you won't see any like Baby Yodas on this list. You won't see Ahsoka on this list, even though technically the Clone Wars is a movie. I'm counting basically the 9 main movies and then Solo and Rogue One. So we'll start with number 10 and we'll go down to number 1. So for number 10, I actually have Count Dooku. Now, again, I know he's in the Clone Wars as well, but I think just from what we see of him in Episode 2 and Episode 3, we find out a lot about Count Dooku, and then of course we see him in the Clone Wars, which really builds, his kind of story. But Count Dooku is very powerful. He's a former Jedi turned Sith. He was the master of Qui-Gon and the apprentice to Yoda when he was a Jedi. And he actually does tell Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones that Darth Sidious is the Chancellor and that he is controlling the entire galaxy. And Obi-Wan chooses not to believe him because he's a bad guy. He should have believed him. But we get to see him battle against Anakin and Obi-Wan twice, and he cuts off Anakin's arm in Attack of the Clones, and he injures Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, and then he fights Yoda and holds his own against Yoda, who was his former master. We know he can use Force Lightning, and he's just a very powerful Sith, and not to mention he's played by the late Christopher Lee, and who is a great actor. And Count Dooku has just always been one of those characters that I really liked, but I hated that I liked him, if that makes sense, because you're not supposed to like these characters because they're bad guys. But Count Dooku is just really powerful, and he's always been one of my favorites. I've always been a fan of the bad guys, as you'll see later on this list. The only reason he's at 10 and not higher up is because I like these other 9 a little bit more than Count Dooku. So next up is Mace Windu, who, of course, dies in Revenge of the Sith. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Star Wars. Mace Windu is very powerful, and again, the Clone Wars shows a lot more of this. He's the only character with a purple lightsaber. I don't know if that's just, how they kind of canon that, but I've heard that it was kind of a way to show that he can balance the light and dark side of the Force, which if that is the case, that makes him really powerful if he harnesses both sides of the Force. And, of course, he's played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is one of my favorite actors, ever. And he's in so many movies, and I love a lot of the stuff that he's in. I haven't seen everything he's in, but and of course, Nick Fury in the Avengers, in the MCU in general. But Mace Windu is he's really great. He holds his own against Palpatine after Palpatine quickly, for some reason, kills off Kit Fisto, Saesee Tiin, and Agen Kolar, and we know what happens. He's literally about to kill Palpatine, and Anakin stops him by cutting off his arm, and then he gets thrown out the window by Palpatine. He could still be alive, which I hope so. I hope they do some kind of theory, or not theory, some kind of movie or TV series about Mace Windu. I think it would be really cool if Windu was still alive and he came back at some point in the Star Wars franchise. I think that would be really great. Number 8 is kind of a side character turned main character later on. Chewbacca. He is still part of the Star Wars franchise. Probably everybody's favorite wingman to Luke and Rey and Han. So he's a Wookiee. He's really powerful. He has the bowcaster, which is an amazing weapon, and he's lived for a lot of years. And and he's seen a lot, and he's survived a lot. And unfortunately for him, he did witness Han's death, but he's also a very strong ally to the Resistance, and he is a great character, and some would say probably a great friend to many of the characters in the Star Wars universe. And Chewbacca's always been one of those characters that, like, you have to love him. And it kind of like the next one, which I have at number 7, is BB-8, the new droid from Star Wars 7 through 9. Poe Dameron's like best friend, his R2D2, if you will. BB-8 is one of the coolest characters with the little ball that rolls around. That's all he is. He's basically just a ball. But he's a droid, so it's kind of cool. And now they have D-O, who is kind of his C-3PO, if you will. The one that could talk while he just beeps and boops. And BB-8, he does all kinds of stuff. And he is the R2-D2 of the new franchise of Star Wars. And I love BB-8. Number 6, I have Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was going to put him lower down on this list, closer to 1, but the other characters beat him out in some aspects. Obi-Wan, he's always been one of my favorite characters. He is my favorite hero in Star Wars, technically. I know there's more heroes after this on this list, but I've always considered him my favorite hero. The only reason he's not my favorite hero on this list is for a few other factors that play into it. But Obi-Wan is a really powerful Jedi. He manages to survive Order 66. He fights Anakin. He pretty much defeats Anakin, which turns him into the Darth Vader that we know of, with the big black costume and the breathing device and the voice changer thing. And it's Obi-Wan has always been one of those Jedi that the Jedi or the Republic could trust, and he always showed his loyalty to the Republic even till the end, and or even to make sure that the good guys succeed in the end. And that's what you want in a hero character. And not to mention the younger version of Obi-Wan played by Ewan McGregor, and of course the older one from the original trilogy played by Sir Alec Guinness, an Academy Award winner. So you just have two great actors playing this iconic character, and he is really a mentor to Luke and a lot of other characters throughout the Star Wars universe, and that's what makes him a really great character. The next number, number 5, I have two characters paired together, and the reason they're paired together is because it's C-3PO and R2, and you can't really have one without the other, and you can't like one more than you like the other one, because they go so good together, and they are the dynamic duo of Star Wars, if you will. They have been in every Star Wars movie in some way, shape, or form, and of course the Clone Wars and even Rebels, they made an appearance. So 3PO and R2 were always those characters that everybody loves. They're the comedy of these more serious movies, and usually it's at the right time. A lot of these movies kind of later went towards comedy at the wrong time in the movie, but you could always count on 3PO and R2 to not only be the comedy of the movie at the right time, but also be the humble, the kind of characters that you need in a time of darkness in the movie. When it looks like the main character's about to die or something bad's about to happen. You see R2 and 3PO and you realize everything's good again because these two characters are here, and that's what good characters are supposed to be. And so that's why I kind of paired them together, because they are a pair in the movies. You can't have one without the other. So number 4, I have Boba Fett, and I know what you're gonna say. He should technically be in TV shows because we see a lot more of him in The Mandalorian, and now with the book of Boba Fett coming out, which we will be talking about on this channel. And I agree he could be in the TV series ones. However, I put him here because the movies are really where I kind of fell in love with the character. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie out of all of them. If you watched our comparing and rankings of the Star Wars movies in the previous videos on this channel, you'll know that. But Empire Strikes Back is obviously the one where Boba Fett is pretty prominent in the movie, and then of course Return of the Jedi, where he falls into the Sarlacc pit, and no spoilers for the Mandalorian, but he is in the Mandalorian. So number 3 on this list, I have the current bad guy, if you will, who was supposed to be the bad guy, the villain of the new Star Wars trilogy, in Kylo Ren. And the reason I put him at number 3 is because his story kind of comes full circle. He is a Skywalker. He is the son of Han Solo and Leia. He ends up having a turn to the good side by the end of the saga. And he ends up saving Rey, and we know he's very powerful. He is one half of a dyad in the Force with Rey, and he's just really great. I mean, and the cool mask he had the first time he came out on screen in The Force Awakens, I was like, this character is awesome, and this guy's gonna be great. And Adam Driver does a great job at portraying Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, if you will. But he is the grandson of Darth Vader, so he does have a lot of darkness in him, but he does end up turning back to the good side to save Rey in the end. And I think that's why I put him at number 3 over characters like Obi-Wan, who were pretty much always good the entire time. Number 2, I have, of course, everybody's favorite, Luke Skywalker. The main hero of the original trilogy and the new trilogy, basically, and of course his appearance in The Mandalorian. Luke is just one of those, and he's so powerful. I mean, just to see the things he does, even as a Force ghost. I know Yoda does a lot of stuff, and Obi-Wan does some stuff sometimes as a Force ghost, but to see Luke actually come back and still be able to train Rey as a Force ghost, basically, and to still be powerful enough, and we even see Force projection in Episode 8, where he's on his island still, but he ends up actually fighting, or holding off, at least fending off Kylo Ren to allow Rey and Leia to escape. And so we never really see that at all, but that is basically what kills him, I guess, technically. But it was just really cool to see that. Of course, we'll end this video with my favorite Star Wars character ever. Anybody that knows me knows that my favorite Star Wars character is Darth Vader. I mean, he's just so cool. And Anakin... Anakin's fine, but I'm talking about the black suit with the helmet and the voice, and just, that version of Darth Vader. I don't know what's made me so, intrigued by Vader over the years, but just what he's done in 4, 5, and 6, and then again in Rogue One, and even in Rebels, as he was in Rebels. Darth Vader has just always been an iconic character. I think if you ask anybody to name a character from Star Wars, most people, even if they haven't seen Star Wars, can say Darth Vader. And that's just how iconic Darth Vader is as a Star Wars character in general. But Vader with James Earl Jones's voice and David Prowse portraying him in the costume, and the costume designed by Ralph McQuarrie, who did a lot of stuff on the original trilogy. It was just an iconic character. There you go, guys. That was my top 10 favorite Star Wars characters from the movies. Stay tuned next week when I review my top 10 favorite Star Wars characters from the TV shows or the expanded universe in general, I guess, because it won't all be TV shows, but it will include Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Rebels, maybe some of the games. So we'll see who ends up on that list, and there may be some people that have been in movies and TV shows but are more prominent in the TV shows, kind of like Windu and Dooku here, and even Obi-Wan. But anyways, guys, there you go. That's my top 10 favorite Star Wars characters from the movies. Leave in the comments who you guys like, if you agree with any of my top 10 picks, who else you think should have made the top 10, and who your favorite Star Wars character is, because I know a lot of people have different opinions, and I like to hear what other people think and who other people like and why. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for what else we got going on. May the Force be with you. Bye, guys.
Subscribe.